Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. Hope you are well. So today I am going to start a new short story written by Mahasweta Devi and translated by Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak, and the title of the story is Draupadi. Draupadi is a story based on the politically charged West Bengal of the 1970s. During the Naxalite movement. I think you have already known about what is the Naxalite movement and what is the revolutions against the Zamindari system at that time. So I am not discussing that here. If you don't know, then please let me know in the comment section. I will obviously make a separate video on this. Okay. So against this Zamindari system, the Naxalite movement, and also against some other problems, the Naxalite movement actually occurred. And Draupadi, the protagonist of this short story, is one of these leaders of the Naxalite movement, we can say, who actually fought against the Zamindars, or we can say in their respective areas like Birbhum, Bankura, Purulia, Murshidabad, and Burdwan, obviously. So added to that, these parts of West Bengal, there are other parts also from Bihar and Jharkhand, nowadays Jharkhand. This is one of the short stories from her collection, from Devi's collection, Mahasweta Devi's collection, Agni Garbha. It was first appeared in the short story collection Agni Garbha. Then it was included in Breast Stories. Okay, written by it is a collection of short stories written by Mahasweta Devi. And it is translated by Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak, one of the most eminent literary critic, who was very much famous for one of her eminent writing that was published in the year 1983, and the name of the text is Can the Subaltern Speak? This short story of Mahasweta Devi depicts its protagonist, its main character, Dobdi Mejen, or we can say Draupadi Mejen, as a tortured Santhal girl because she was accused of killing one of the zamindars named Surya Shahu and his son. Added to that, there are some other charges too, like looting the public wealth, or we can say occupying the tubewells and wells of Surya Shahu and others. Okay, she is the voice of the marginals. She becomes the voice of the powerless. So when she approached Mr. Senanayak completely naked, completely unarmed, Mr. Senanayak for the first time is very much afraid seeing her, because he had not at all faced this type of opponent in his lifetime, in his entire lifetime. So although he is a master, he is a pro in killing the or in annihilating these miscreants, he is completely terrifying, completely trembling before these women, before this unarmed Santhal woman. Okay, Draupadi's story is not a story of a marginalized woman voicing back, but we can say that this is a general plea, a call from a doubly marginalized girl. Rather, we should say that this is a call of defiance, call of resistance from a doubly marginalized girl. So why I am saying doubly marginalized girl? No, because doubly, because she is a girl, she is a woman at the first hand, and at the same time she is a Santhal woman. That means she is from the tribal class. That is why I am saying that she is doubly marginalized. Actually, we can say that she is not doubly but triply, quadrupledly. How many times we cannot say, because she is also the representatives of the poor class, of the farmer class, or we can say she is one of the gendered victims. Okay, one of the representatives of the gendered victims of the society. So we can say that she is altogether, all throughout the short story, she is a representative of the marginalized class, and that is why we can say that her plea is a general plea. Her plea is not from only from the feministic point of view, but a general plea of the marginal people, of the subaltern people who are voicing back against the center, against the powers, against the forces. And at the end of the story, we can say that when Mr. Senanayak is facing these powerless people, powerless woman, powerless unarmed Santhal woman, actually the center loses its power. Actually, the things fall apart. So this is a short introduction of the short story Draupadi, written by Mahasweta Devi. Now let us look into some of the important characters from this story. So the first one is Dobdi Mejen, also known as Upi Mejen. Her husband Dulan Majhi, also known as Matanga Majhi. Then the traitors Shomai and Budhna. The comrades like Shotish, Jugal, Rana, Probir, Orijit. The zamindars, Mr. Shurja Shahu, his son Ratoni Shahu, the police inspector Mr. Arjan Singh, Mr. Sena Nayak, and the water bearer Chomru, and some Santhal people like Musai Tudu, his wife, and so on. These are the minor characters from this short story. So this is the short character list. Now let us move to the summary of this short story. In the beginning of the short story, we can see that two commanders are talking among themselves about some notorious woman, quote unquote, notorious woman, Draupadi, that she has a reward on her head, on her name of rupees 100. Her name bears a semblance of the mythical character of Yagyaseni Draupadi from Mahabharata. Actually, you have heard of Draupadi. Draupadi is none other than the wife of the Pancha Pandavas, who was lost during the game of chess in the Sabha Parva of Mahabharata. Okay. Not only of name, she bears, or we can say the protagonist of our short story bears not the semblance of name, but she is very much same in the case of tortures, treatments, and everything. That means very much like Draupadi of Mahabharata, our main character or our protagonist Dobdi Mejen actually bears the same tortures, same treatments like Draupadi, except some dissimilarities. Like Draupadi was saved by Lord Krishna, one of the central forces, but Draupadi Mejen or Dobdi Mejen has to fight back completely alone. She had no one by her side. No one means no one. Okay. Very much like the mythical Draupadi, the state forces fail to make her, to make Draupadi, or to make her to subjugate before the authority. Okay. So the two commanders are talking among themselves about Draupadi or Dobdi Mejen, her husband Dulan Majhi, and their comrades, that they are behind all the notorious activities like killing of Surya Shahu, his son, occupying of the wells of the upper castes and the tube wells also, and many more things, many more illegal things. At the time of Bakuli operation under Arjan Singh, Mr. Arjan Singh was the superintendent then. So, at the time of Bakuli operation, these couple, that means Dobdi Mejen and her husband Dulan Majhi, pretended to be dead, and they slept on the ground, and with the breaking of the dawn, they actually escaped. Okay. Arjan Singh at first thought that they are dead, and that is why he was actually, we can say, satisfied, but their escape actually causes trauma, causes anxiety to Mr. Arjan Singh, and from that time he is not very much interested in fighting with these primitive people who actually uses the primitive guerrilla technique of warfare. After that daring Bakuli operation, during the operation of Forest Jharkhani, Arjan Singh was again appointed by the government, but this time, as I have already mentioned, that he is very much anxious about these black men, black skinned Santals. He wanted to escape escape this duty, and so he took the voluntary retirement. As a result, there was appointed a Bengali high official named Mr. Sena Nayak. Okay. He was, we can say, he was a believer of extreme left ideologies, and at the same time he believes that to finish the opponents, you have to be one of them, you must have the ideologies very much like them. Okay. So this was his belief. So, Mr. Sena Nayak took Dukhiram, one of the Santals, in his side, and these Dukhiram betrayed Draupadi and Dulan and helped Mr. Senanaik to catch Dulan when he was drinking water directly sipping from the stream. And then after killing him, the army, the armed forces waited hiding behind the trees to see if anyone comes to take the corpse out. Okay, but no one comes, so they have to leave that thing there. Here, one thing to inform you that after the operation of Bakuli, the couple, that means Dobdi Mechen and Dulan Maji and their other comrades took shelter in the forest of Jharkhani. Okay, so Mr. Senanayak is leading his operation in these areas, in these forest of Jharkhani. Okay, so after some days of Dulan's death, Musaitudu's wife asked Dobdi why she is not running away from that place, because for them the common Santals have to suffer, because she informed that the previous night the Bada Sahib have visited their house and they doubt that Dobdi could be there. So Dobdi informs Musaitudu's wife that they don't have to be panicked because of her. So, being asked by Musaitudu's wife, she actually take leave from her and started walking on her own way. Okay, so while walking, she heard some voice from her behind calling by her name Dobdi Mejen. Here she is very much surprised, because in these areas nobody knows her name, nobody knows his previous name, because she has disguised herself as Upi Mejen. Okay, and her husband was named Matangamaji, who is already dead. So she wonders that who that could be, but continues going. She was thinking continuously that this person might be from Bakuli, because her original name is only known to Musaitudu and his wife, and none other than that. So when she was thinking of going towards the jungle, she actually thought for the second time and thought that to save her comrades, she has to sacrifice her own life. Okay, so she does the same, and she was identified by Ratani Sahu, the brother of Surya Sahu, and then at around 6:57 p.m. she was caught by the army, by the force, state force, and she was taken to the camp office. There she was questioned for 1 hour, and when she answered nothing, she actually thought beforehand that she will not tell a word about her comrades, that where they are hiding themselves. Okay, so after several questioning being failed, they actually left her, and the Senanayak, Mr. Senanayak, ordered his men to make her up. Okay, so from 8:57 onwards, she had no knowledge about her own self. Her arms and legs were bound to the four posts. She was gang raped all throughout the night, and so brutally that her vagina bled heavily and breasts completely wounded. In the morning, when she was left to be taken to the Senanayak, she goes to the Senanayak completely naked, fearlessly. At this, the guard who was guarding Draupadi become very much afraid of this scene. So she completely headed towards Senanayak, and she spit some blood on the white shirt of Mr. Senanayak. She talked with Mr. Senanayak, keeping her eye on the eye of Mr. Senanayak. Actually, here we can say that for the first time in life, Mr. Senanayak is afraid to face any of his opponents. Although he was armed and he was in the power, and in the opposite, we can say the opponent is completely unarmed, completely naked. She has nothing with her. In spite of that thing, we can see that the power, the central, the Mr. Senanayak is very much afraid of this lady, afraid of Dobdi Mejen. Here we can say that Dobdi Mejen is asking for her own rights, for her own power, and the marginal is asking for the central thing, central power, central forces. Okay. So here the story ends. So hope this analysis will be of help. If this helps you, then please give it a like, do share with your friends. If you have some comments, then please write that in the comment section. I will be pleased to read that. And if this helps, then please share this with your friends. And if you have not subscribed yet, please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching this video.